إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونسترضيه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما ثم أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, as we are just starting the new academic year in UBC, and maybe most of us either students, professors, maybe researcher or postdoc people, I thought about the topic of knowledge in Islam. But then I said that this topic is very repetitive. We all know that in Islam we should be very good students. We just need to work hard, and this is what Islam encouraged us to do. So I decided to go deeper in the values of the knowledge and how Islam, when it came 1400 years ago, started and planted the values of knowledge in the generation of the Sahaba. How the Quran tried to approach these values in order to build the Muslim hadara or the Muslim civilization. And before reaching this point in this khutbah and try to explain how the Quran approaches these values and they planted in the minds of Sahaba, I will just have to define some terms related to knowledge, science, information. What does that mean? And then we will go to the part of how Islam approached that. So what does science mean? And what is the difference between the science and the knowledge? And scholars has defined the science, actually when they do some research previously, when they have some theory, for example, in science, they were believed like this is 100% true, we will believe in that theory, that's it. After a while, somebody came with another theory, so they changed that theory to another. So they keep believing and then find that this is wrong, so we need to develop that. So they came with the final definition of science. Means that it's the self-correction of mistakes. It's the logic of self-correction. So whatever we do in the science, they will know that it will be corrected. It will have some errors, and then it will be more detailed. So what's the difference if we look to that in that area? What's the difference between science and knowledge? Actually, the simple way to differentiate between the two things is that the knowledge is the process, is the ability to produce science. Al-ma'rifa wal-ilm, or al-ma'lumat. One of the great Muslim scholars, Egyptian Muslim scholars nowadays, Dr. Ahmed Zuwail, in one of the films, he was differentiating between the information and the knowledge. And he was saying for the people, for the Muslims nation, the knowledge, the information are there. The science is already there online, it's available. Making the science and the information available does not mean that we have the knowledge yet. We need to develop the ability to produce similar informations. So he was saying that we need to differentiate between this and that and focus on developing the values of knowledge. And this is where I would go and focus when Islam and Quran try to approach these values, how the knowledge values and the knowledge process has been developed in the companions' minds. So, knowledge and science, knowledge especially, is based on some values. And this is, up to now, is just international, not only for Muslims. It's based on observation, and logical analysis. This is how, there's no emotions. In knowledge, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. We do statistics, this is significantly effect, whatever. You do some observations and you do some logical analysis in order to do that. And the science of logic, ilmul mantiq, is the basics of developing the knowledge. Okay, I will move one by one in order to reach the point that I want to reach. The logic is part of the philosophy science. So what exactly the science of philosophy? The philosophy is the science or the art of questioning, of inquiring, using the tools of logic in order to develop the process of knowledge, in order to produce science and information. You see the chain? Logic, the philosophy is the art of questioning. We have the logic is part of that philosophy. We produce the knowledge process in order to produce informations and sciences. Look to Islam now, 1500 years ago. How started the values of art of questioning? So when Islam came, Quran tries to question the people about what? First, it started with the questioning the existence of values, the existence of, so why you worship this? This is something that is already exist there. So Quran tries to, why you worshiping something that does not give you a useful or benefit, or it's just a rock? Why you are killing girls? Why? So people started to think and to analyze what exactly is happening, why we are doing this existing. Then Islam, look to the Quran, tried to encourage other people to question. أَفَلَا يَتَفَكَّرُونَ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Don't you think? Don't you have any reasoning? So after questioning the existence, questioning or encouraging people to question, Quran is trying to build that community, the scientific community. And this is the generation that become and build the civilization of Muslims. After questioning these and encouraging people to question the existence, it's pointing up to think about the environment that they are sitting in. So وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ, in your bodies. Look to yourself. Study the human. So this is like an indication of the science of all the creations and medical science. Then Islam goes and Quran goes one further step to question not only myself and the human, to question the surrounding, to the camel, to the plants. Further point was to question the skies. فَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبْلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ. And for the sky, how it was. So the science of astronomy. وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ, or وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ. The science of the mountains, the trees, the geography, the geology. So it's starting with the questioning existing values. Then Islam tried to question the environment, starting with the human. These brothers try to come. We need to find a solution to do it automatically every khutbah. And after questioning the existence, questioning the surrounding, the human, then the animals, then the geography, and the whole world. Look to how Islam has planted the value of questioning for everything around the Muslims. But the Quran, there is a misconception related to how we understand science and knowledge encouraged by the Quran. Some people say, or this problem was actually happening in the church, they were saying that there is no science except as in the science in the Bible. So if you said something that is not in the Bible, so that means that you are conflicting with the religion. In some history, now they don't have this. To be just and to be in some era. So some people, they think that, or they have the value that we have Quran and Sunnah, we don't need anything else. No, we need to differentiate between two types of science that is in the Quran. There is the science and the information that is in the Quran. We need to read it, we need to understand it, how the heritage, whatever the information, how we should treat others. There is some information there in the Quran, we need to grab it and take it. And there is the science that the Quran has pointed for us outside the Quran. Geology, geography, science, not only the applied science, also the humanities, the economics, the politics. This is a very developed science that Quran tried to point it for us to go. After looking to this science, look how Quran is developing the values in the minds of companions. Then, after you discover their surrounding, travel in the land. قُلْ سِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَانْظُرُوا. Because there is other nations on the whole world. We are not alone. We should develop, and we should develop our science and our developing based on the previous nations, what they did. So we need to look to other nations, to travel there and look to the whole, even travel with the meaning of travel in time, go with the history. Look to the previously people in the history, what they did. So the science of history and the philosophy of history. Look how much Islam has given us the values of the science and pushing it in all the verses in the Quran. And actually this is how scholars in Islam has understood this. My name is Haytham, and my parents was always telling me that you should name your son as Al-Hasan ibn al-Haytham. Al-Hasan ibn al-Haytham is one of the great scholars in Islam. He was not only scholar in fiqh or sharia or deen. He was the one who creates the basics idea behind the camera. And he was doing that in the middle of the masjid. If we do some experiments in some masjids and Muslims, they would tell us, no, this is a worship area. But this is not the values of Islam. So, in one era, Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, one of the scholars, was saying that in that time, they had plenty of Sharia students and Sharia scholars. And they were having only one Christian doctor in that city. We need to cover any specialization related to the knowledge. It's not, Islam just don't want us just to focus on the Sharia or the Deen. The Islam is to understand the whole world with all science. This is the worship that Islam is trying to encourage us with. Before giving some time to make dua, Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghazali, one of the scholars, the Muslims, Egyptian scholars, he was saying that we need 1.5 meters to pray. We need a couple of papers to understand how to practice Islam, and we need as much as science between the earth and the whole skies in order to protect the 1.5 meter to pray. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. آمين. Alhamdulillah. So to sum up what we are trying to say in this khutbah, to keep it as short and as summarized as possible, the values of thinking and the questioning, which is the basics of philosophy and logical analysis and observation, is the basics values that Islam started in the Quran started to plant in the companions. And in order to develop, we need to develop these science. In order to develop as a whole nation, the types of the science that is in the Quran is in two parts: science that is in the Quran, science that has been pointed out of the Quran in order to seek it and to understand it. We need to understand several types of science, history, traveling in the land, all kinds of things that will give us the values of discovering and gain knowledge. Our worship as Muslims is by perfecting our sciences and be very good students, get A's. Not only getting A's with good understanding of the courses, and be as much as scientific as we can. وأسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يجعلني وإياكم ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم عافنا فيمن عافيت، وتولنا فيمن توليت، وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت. اللهم آت قلوبنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها. وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه، وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد